welcome back to the Senior Hour. I'm Barbara Cochran with my co-host, Dr. Jean Dorio, on your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS. And we're speaking with Dr. Thomas Palaki.
Hello.
How are you again?
Good.
The illustrious.
The illustrious.
The illustrious. The shining.
Like
Can we
that.
touch you?
It'll cost you. No.
No, it'll
No.
cost us if you touch us.
There you go.
That too.
No, we were talking about stability
Yeah.
and exercise.
And during our break, we, both Barb and I got into corners and we attempted to do exactly what we were talking about. And I stood and had a weakness on one side with my eyes open even.
Typically, that's
And
the way it
then
is.
closed my eyes and, I just, right with that same side, I just went down right away.
Yeah.
Crashed through the window, out onto the street. Paramedics came, stitched me up in the meantime.
And here you
I'm
are.
back here in the studio.
Yes. So this is typical. This is absolutely what I expect to see in most people at any age. This is not solely a problem of the senior community. This is a problem across the board, and nobody really talks about it. Nobody does this kind of balance training unless you're in a sport that requires very, very controlled movements, something like martial arts, which is all about form and control and balance and flexibility. That is most of the most effective training that science now knows about is actually thousands of years old. It is what the martial artists have been doing for thousands of years to get your body in a place where you can do these unbelievable things with your body. It's the only way that those things are possible. So instead of trying to figure out, what new weird thing can we invent, all you have to do is find a real martial arts school, and at any age, it's going to give you some benefit. Certainly, there's a big difference between martial arts and self-defense. I'm not bashing self-defense at all. I think it's very appropriate and has its place. And I want to be able to defend myself if I need to. But martial arts is much more encompassing. It is, first of all, it is internal training. It is about self-respect. It is about discipline. It is about really raising your standard of how you treat yourself and others in the community and how you behave. So that's the big difference that I see. And then it is all about the breathing and the circulation and the balance and the coordination.
Yeah.
And it's much more of a dance than it is about where do I punch someone to knock them out, or where do I kick someone to end the fight immediately. It's more about how do I get my body to do the most amazing things that it possibly can. And that's what I really love about martial arts training. It is the best protocol for aging elegantly that science now knows about.
That's very interesting. Well, you see so many younger people at doing martial arts. You very seldom see older people.
Well, there are certain martial arts that really lend themselves well, and I don't know of any senior facility that doesn't offer Tai Chi.
Oh, yes, they do.
That's a martial art. That is
I
a
didn't
very
know that.
serious martial art. It's just not a self-defense. So there's a big difference. Tai Chi is real martial arts.
Yeah, because they have that at the gym.
And at the senior center.
Yeah, they do. That's right.
Yeah, this
They
is
do.
what I'm talking about. It is moving gracefully. It is breathing. It is focusing on your internal well-being. In fact, the foundation of Tai Chi is the oldest form of medicine that we know about. Where it all comes from. Before we started thinking about, okay, what kind of chemicals can we put in the body in order to change physiology? People were doing breathing and balance and coordination exercises in order to try to get people healthier. And then roughly, I don't know, in the neighborhood of 2,000 to 3,000 years ago, something shifted in China. And they were using, at the time it was called alchemy, which is modern day pharmacology, and the court physicians killed the emperor, and then it was all banned. It was illegal. It was banned, and they went back to what is now considered traditional Chinese medicine. And they stayed that way for over 1,000 years before Western influences started bringing back conventional medicine.
Very interesting. Very interesting.
Yeah, well, Tai Chi is practiced here in Santa Clarita
Sure.
in a lot of places, and of
Sure.
course our senior center does have it as well, but it's some people just don't know what it is and the benefit they will derive from it.
You know, you don't have to make it anything more than it's a way to move fluidly. And who won't get some benefit from that? It is balance. It is coordination. It is fluid movement. It is focusing on your breathing. It is focusing on what's going on inside of your body and trying to isolate that from all the distractions that's going on. It is a moving meditation, if that word doesn't freak people out too much.
A moving meditation, yeah, I can understand
But
that.
some people will say that it's not an exercise, but indeed it is an exercise.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, and
Sounds-
people, you might not see people perspiring and huffing and puffing, but the body control with the slow part of that adds to, in the long run, your
It's an
balance.
amazing exercise. Yeah, one of the oldest out there. Yoga and the real martial arts, which are a derivative of yoga, then that is the original medicine. That is where we all came from.
That's really interesting because even when I'm working on the machines, Teresa will tell me, breathe in, breathe out. Breathe
It's all
in,
controlled.
breathe out.
Yeah, focus on your breathing.
Yeah, she said that's
That's what
critical.
they do in Tai Chi.
That's critical to helping you exercise and getting the full benefit of that machine, regardless of what it is. That's very interesting. Yeah, breathing.
So this
Breathing.
all came from your workout today, but you know, your recognition, Barbara, that your balance was off.
Oh, yeah.
That you had lost some of that, and now you had to find a way to get back to normal and work toward that. So a lot of people just won't recognize that in their life, but you went right for it, which is nice.
Well, I think it really was brought to me when I had that seizure, or not seizure, that session with feeling like I had
The dizziness.
vertigo.
Right.
You know, and whoops, I would stumble. You know, it scared the daylights out of me.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, wait a minute, whoa. You know, holding onto the wall to stop me from falling sideways, which is a terrifying feeling.
Sure. I
really
mean,
is.
correct me if I'm wrong. That's the number one reason for admissions to nursing homes, a fall, yeah?
Falls play a critical role in our seniors' lives, and certainly whether they're living at home or whether they're at a facility of any kind, yeah, they're going to end up, they fall, and we have to figure out ways of not. I mean, I think there's a huge focus in the United States now to make sure that the falling, it becomes something of the past. And of course, they're trying to find apparatus that, well, like helmets and padding and things like that. But
Bars
the
on
real-
everything.
And that's all cool too. I mean, we need to do some of that because some people just get beyond our help. They have
Sure.
diseases, have had strokes, or they have Parkinson's, and they're going to have some trouble. But we're working toward that. But
And a lot of medications seriously disrupt the balance as well.
absolutely, it does. Some of it is directly related to the polypharmacy that some of our patients are on, unfortunately.
So, but there is a different option for people out there. Like you took it upon yourself. I didn't tell you that, you need to start focusing on balance. You took it upon yourself. How many people do you think are going to do that, though? I don't think too many. So take it upon yourself at least to get evaluated for your balance. It's a known, it's a given. If you're on medications, your balance is disrupted. As you age, if you don't constantly work at it, your balance is disrupted. Unless you're involved in a sport, you have no training in this whatsoever, and you're not going to have the kind of balance that is going to prevent a fall that may ultimately lead to your demise.
Yeah, that's scary, because a lot of those thoughts went through my mind
Of
and
course.
do when I get off kilter.
So it
Because
doesn't take much. You're doing great, and it doesn't even take what you're doing to start turning it around.
Well, I think seeing that TV show
Link
gave
it.
me a challenge too.
Sure.
Yeah.
You know,
Sure.
hey, can I do that?
Well, that's exceptional. That's kind of really serious work. I would not have put you right on a stability ball. I would have started you off with something much more simple, something that you could get a handle on much sooner, see the progress, and work you up to a stability ball.
Well, what's interesting, Teresa has done that.
Okay.
And they have these little platforms, you know, you can make them higher, but she'll
Steps.
have me holding weights and step up and step down, and step up and step down, just one leg at a time. And then she'll have me do both legs down, up and down.
Right.
And that, I couldn't do many of those.
Okay, so that's more strength. There's a little bit of stability involved with that. The easiest thing is one leg standing. Holding one leg standing. When you can do one leg standing for a minute, then you start perturbing. You start upsetting you in some way. Whether that be if you're holding weights in your hands, you start doing a curl with one leg standing. That will really perturb your center of balance.
Wow.
And if that is good, then you move on to things like stability balls. But until you can do one leg standing with some perturbation, going right to a ball is probably too big a step for most
much.
people. I do not recommend anybody trains on a stability ball by themselves without any kind of supervision. It's just not
I
appropriate.
wouldn't have done it.
Yeah.
But, you know, she asks me every time I go in there, what do you want to work on today? And I'll tell her either, you know, floor exercises or machines or whatever. But she, doing those crunch machines, she has me doing 50 now with my legs up straight on that crunch machine.
But
and
that's for your core.
Yeah, that's for the
Okay.
core. But holding the legs up is a lot harder than it is putting them on the stair there, the little supporting step.
Yeah.
It's a lot harder. And because she had me doing 10, then she had me doing 15, and then 20, and then 25, and I thought, okay, she's going to quit. No, do 50.
So tell me why, though, with a stability ball that I can understand having supervision, but if a person gets adept at it and wants to improve that criteria that we have, the one leg standing, if they want to do that, they can do it, work out and try this on their own. So is the problem with being supervised because of one might fall or one might get injured? Because we did the thing in the corner here in the studio during our break, but you had us stand in the corner
Right.
so that with our elbows close so that, you know, if we started to go down, we'd break our fall.
Yep.
That was our safety factor.
Sure.
So are there
There's always
safety
that.
factors
There are
that
absolutely
allow us
safety
to use a stability ball without supervision?
There are some intermediate steps. You can get a stability ball that has a little bit of sand inside of it in the bottom, so it doesn't roll as quickly,
Oh, interesting.
so that it's not going to get away from you. Because if you start this, and every manufacturer, every DVD out there is going to say that we are not responsible for you hurting yourself or
Yeah.
killing yourself on this thing.
Disclaimers.
So there's a chance that you could get hurt. So yes, there is the safety factor, and there are ways to make it safer for you. You're not necessarily going to be able to get sand in one of these balls, but it's easy enough if you're going to pump it up yourself. It's easy enough to get some water inside one of these balls.
Oh, yeah.
You know, put a gallon of water in one of these balls, and it's going to slow that ball down considerably, so it's not going to kick out from you so easily. It's not going to get away from you. You're going to have a little bit more stability. That's one thing. But again, I have to make the disclaimer. I am recommending that nobody attempts this stuff without a buddy, without a partner. You wouldn't go and bench press without a buddy, without a partner. You see people do it all the time. But it's not safe, especially if you're challenging yourself. And this stability training is challenging for just about anybody who doesn't constantly do it. All right, that being said, do I train on a ball by myself? All the time. But I know how to take a fall. I know how to fall. In martial arts, essentially the first year of training is learning how to fall properly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Most people are going to get hurt when they fall because they were never trained on how to fall properly.
But I bench press.
By yourself?
Absolutely.
With a bar?
No.
Or with dumbbells?
It's a machine.
Oh, machine.
So machines are easy. So they guide you. If it happens to you lose your grip, which has never happened,
it's still not going to come down and crush your windpipe.
Right, none of that. So I'm still able to do.
I'm talking about with a barbell.
Right. So what I'm saying is that we must be able to find a stability ball where we have control. Where
they sell them with sand in them.
Okay, it's sand and water and okay.
So that's
because
one
what
thing.
I'm looking at, because you were talking about criteria, you were talking about the one leg standing and being able to, I stood in the corner here a little while ago, and you even said you won't be able to stand for 1 second because you already knew the deficit I had. So my thought is that if I'm doing stability training and balance training, that I would want to improve that number. So maybe in a week or so, a month, I'll get up to 5 seconds and then 10 seconds. And I'll keep improving that and see where my actual balance is, which ultimately could help prevent my falls. But I would want to try to do some of that at home on my own with maybe water or sand in the ball instead.
Here's the thing. Why put the cart before the horse? Why try to run before you can crawl? You know what the problem is. You know what the deficit is. And guess what? The treatment is the test. You just stand in the corner on one leg until you can do it on that one leg with your eyes open until you're not falling within 10 seconds.
Ken, don't you train to get better at it or no?
That is the training.
That's the training.
See, to me, that was a criteria that you use to determine how good your balance is. And I'm looking for other criteria as well. With bench pressing, I made it to 250, or now I made it to 300 pounds.
Right.
So that was my criteria.
And this is the same thing. You're standing on one foot, open eyes, for a minute. You start off at 10 seconds. You work on it.
Okay, so you use that as a practice tool.
Yep.
Okay.
It's not only diagnostic, it's therapeutic. It's the test and the cure.
So I'm looking for that, I'm looking for criteria that I can use to be able to determine, is my balance getting better and how am I doing that?
This is the unsexy part about functional work. People are always intrigued. You saw something with a big shiny ball on TV and someone was able to do something that you couldn't do, and you were like, immediately it triggered the competitive nature, and I want that. I want to be able to do that. So you go in and you tell your trainer, ask your doctor, ask your trainer, is that right for you? It takes a lot of discipline from the doctor or from the trainer to say, no, that's not right for you. Here, we're going to have you stand in a corner. We're going to have you stand on one leg. We're going to see how long you can do it for, and we're going to work on that. When you can stand with your eyes closed in the corner on one foot for 1 minute, we're going to get you on the ball. And until that time, it's not right for you.
It's not.
Okay.
It's not. Okay. I understand that. But I saw it and I thought, I've got to try that. And then that young woman, while I was on that treadmill watching her, right in front of me, standing there on one leg with one leg up above. And she didn't even shiver,
But she's
tremble.
30 years old.
Well, that's true, but it was absolutely amazing.
So now that's your next thing.
No, I got to stand on one leg first for 30 seconds. I think it's time to take a break, isn't it?
Yep.
Oh, wow. I'm Barbara Cochran with my co-host, Dr. Jean Dorio, on your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS. And welcome back to the Senior Hour. I'm Barbara Cochran with my co-host, Dr. Jean Dorio, on your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS. And we've been talking with Dr. Thomas Pilecki, and boy, have we learned a lot today.
Sure did. Great show.
Thank you.
You know, we usually come in with a topic to discuss, but this
I know.
topic just took off on its own.
Well, I think it was my explaining what happened to me today.
Exactly,
because
and
it all
how
had-
beneficial it, I think, has been to our listeners to understand that you recognize in a symptom that you had a need to take care of your balance, and you went out and said,
improve it.
I'm gonna do something about it, and you have done that.
Well, I'm doing it.
Right, but to the benefit of those listening, they said,
Right.
okay, you know, if I have a symptom, I'm going after that too.
Well, that's true.
for you.
But the interesting part about it, standing in the corner on one leg, that's fantastic. Because going back to that young woman in the gym this morning, I could not believe it. Could not believe it. The length of time she stood perfectly still with her legs straight up, holding onto it with her arm. Unbelievable.
And of course, we wouldn't expect our listeners to be able to do that,
No.
but if our listeners would go to a corner where you can be safe and cinch your elbows close to the wall, try it. Put one leg up as you stand with your eyes open. See how long you can do it. Change
Yeah.
legs, see how long you can do it, but then close your eyes. See how long you can do it. If you can't do that for very long, which was demonstrated to me today, maybe it means that you have to have some stability training.
Well, now, would you recommend that 30 seconds standing on one leg to start with?
Open
Or
eyes, yes.
Open eyes.
Just
Yeah,
to practice
open
it.
eyes.
Start to see.
That is the correction for it, and that can take, and depending on the person, depending on what they've got going on, their problems in their ankles, their knees, their hips, their back, throughout their entire spine, they may never be able to get to that 30 seconds. However, you want to improve upon what you're doing.
Right.
And if for whatever reason you can, I highly recommend that you come see someone like me who actually knows what to look for, who knows how to get past it or get it as good as possible. And the easiest way is just call the office, 661-753-9340. If they come in this Friday, it's chiropractic's 120th birthday, if
I
you can
know.
imagine that.
Yes.
And we're having a big party. People can come in and see what it's all about in a very non-confrontational way, very casual way. And we hope to have a lot of people come and experience what they hear about on my show, on this show, and really improve the quality of their life.
Well, I would love to be able to match you standing on one leg in that corner. You've challenged
I'd like to see
me
that, too.
now.
All right.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Is that your left-handedness that's making you say that?
I don't know.
That little challenge that she has taken of life?
That's it.
But you have to have a challenge in life. You know, you do. You have to be able to work towards something.
There you go.
And that's a challenge.
And that's an attitude, too, that you have.
Oh, well, yeah. I hadn't thought about that. But that's true.
Yeah, the Japanese have a saying, constant and never-ending improvement.
That's
I love that.
Constant and never
from
ending
the illustrious
improvement.
Dr. Thomas Pilecki.
There we go.
Great to
The
have you on our show
illustrious.
today.
Thank you.
As usual, great topic. We are sponsored by Advanced Audiology and In-Home Care, Santa Clarita Valley. Listen to us next week on the Senior Hour. Now go and enhance your quality of life.
Right.